During the week, diplomacy took center stage from high-stakes meetings at the White House, where European leaders joined discussions on the war in Ukraine, now entering its fourth year, to ongoing ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas. And then taking your attention to the home front. This shifted to President Samuel Ikomesako's speech on diplomacy and the upcoming October elections in colonial French Cameroon, a move widely criticized by Ambazonians as misplaced in the face of the region's ongoing conflict and humanitarian crisis. Tonight, we take a global view of events shaping Africa's narrative. Are they casting the continent into a brighter light or deepening old shadows? Let's delve into the details. I am Pavita Akro. Good evening and welcome to Flash News. Let's begin. President Donald Trump has directed White House lawyers to review Smithsonian museums, arguing that their exhibits place too much emphasis on slavery and other painful parts of African American history instead of highlighting the nation's progress. In a post on his social media platform, President Trump said the Smithsonian was out of control, claiming the museums portray the United States as horrible and dwell excessively on how bad slavery was. He insisted the future exhibitions should highlight success and brightness as part of America's 250th anniversary. Let's take a listen. Meanwhile, the Smithsonian Institution declined to comment on the review. The White House confirmed that the assessment will cover 8 major museums, including the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the National Museum of American History, and the National Museum of the American India. A letter sent to Smithsonian Secretary Lonnie Barnes said the review seeks to ensure the museums reflect the unity, progress, and enduring values that define the American story. President Trump's latest stance contrasts with his 2017 visit to the African American History and Culture Museum, where he praised the institution as incredible and honored figures such as Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass. At a time, he called the museum a reminder of the need to confront bigotry and intolerance. Let's take a listen.
Well, we want the museums to treat our country fairly. We want the museums to talk about the history of our country in a fair manner, not in a woke manner or in a racist manner, which is what many of them, not all of them, but many of them are doing. Our museums have an obligation to represent what happened in our country over the years, good and bad, but what happened over the years in an accurate way.
The review follows Trump's March executive order directing Vice President J.D. Vance and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum to remove improper ideology from Smithsonian operations. The move has sparked debate over whether efforts to reshape museum narratives risks downplaying the brutality of slavery and its lasting impact on the American society. Analysts warn that revising how slavery is presented could raise questions about whether the administration is attempting to rewrite history in favor of political ideology. What would it mean for Americans' global image if the realities of slavery and systemic racism are minimized in national institutions? Think about that. And how might this shift affect African Americans and other communities whose histories are tied to those struggles? Let's take a listen.
I remember you saying the same thing to the classroom, that we need to be responsible for documenting and teaching our history because, and there were a few reasons, but a couple that stand out in my mind. We are the best positioned to do so.
Certainly.
And the other is that history has shown us time and again that there is often a concerted effort to bury our accomplishments or to otherwise rewrite the story surrounding the narratives that relate to us.